Okay, good evening everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is a market update for Thursday evening, January 2nd, 2014. So the market took a heck of a hit today, and I'm not totally surprised. I think I even mentioned on the update last night that we could literally, pull back at any time. Now, the real question is to what degree, what kind of pullback are we going to get? So let's take a look. I mean, we've had 5 days where we had closes outside the upper Keltner channel band, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've pulled back. We haven't even pulled back quite to the 10-day exponential moving average. The 10-day is at, let me move this over here so you can see that. Sorry for that. The 10-day is the blue MA 16 359.50, so 359.50, so about 80 points down below, and of course that slightly goes up the next day because it's moving in that direction. So we'll have to see. We'll see how this plays out. Don't know that we're getting any other special reading off of this. Let's see, down 135 today. S&P 500 down. What was it, down 16.4 almost. And again, we're not seeing any negative divergences, which leads me to think that what we're getting is just a simple, quick little pullback. But honestly, I mean, you never know. I mean, it could be just some of these pullbacks, something like this, like we've experienced. And this did pull back to the 10-day here. So, I mean, you've got this pulling back to the 10-day, whereas the Dow didn't quite yet. The NASDAQ did pull back to the 10-day, pulled back into the channel. Again, this had been hovering around the outside of the Keltner channel, got above the Keltner channel, the dotted lines I've talked about, okay? That's volatility bands. And then when I talk about this price channel, that's probably what I actually ought to call it. This price channel, it had pushed, NASDAQ had pushed above the price channel, the upper line of the price channel, upper boundary, and has now pulled back into it, and it's hit this. So, I mean, what does that tell me? It tells me it's pulled back some. It's pulled back to the 10, but who knows? I mean, this thing could continue to pull back even more. Let's see if we're getting a, the VIX. Let's talk about the VIX a little bit. The VIX has popped up here, several days in a row, and I'm not getting the moving average kind of cross the 10 over the 20 kind of thing, leading me to believe there's like a major move coming. Now, the other thing we want to keep in perspective, and we just have to watch for this on the levels, is just where we're at. Okay. We're at very, very low levels here on the VIX. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Okay, very low levels from over the years. And, you look at the extreme we got back in the basically what I call a crash in 2008 into 2009, huge historic levels of the VIX in terms of volatility. They call this a fear index, but in reality it's also, the volatility. And as as the volatility increases, the range of trading increases, they jack up the time premium on the options. Okay, and that's what this is measuring: the increase in the premium on the options on the Chicago Board of Options Exchange. Okay, so when you look at this, you sit back and say, okay, well, what levels have we been at? I mean, back here in late 2006 into early 2007, we had a whole time period where we just traded right in this range of basically less than 12.5 points. If you look at the 12, here's 12 on the VIX, and you could see we haven't even gotten into that level yet. So there's room to even go down further and stay down further, but we are in a very low range, especially as compared to the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years or so. Actually, you could go from this period, about 5 years, 5 to 6 years. So that's just kind of a little bit of perspective on the VIX. We definitely need to keep an eye on it and watch to see how it's trading. Short-term trading index, no new indicator. Clearly, I've marked on here now where this low was on December 27th. And I'm actually kind of wondering whether or not we're getting a little bit of a pullback and then we push to new highs and we get a divergence on some of the indicators. Because this is kind of leading, at least it's led, like I've talked about several times earlier in the year. High-low index, remember I talked about how this was a little bit of a fish hook. Get rid of this. This was a little bit of a fish hook, kind of a fish hook type of thing here. And a lot of times when you get this type of action on RSI indicator and some of these other indicators, it then means, okay, the next move is coming down. And of course, we got that on this. In terms of the actual, there were 52 more highs, new highs than new lows today in terms of the net for the day. Don't know that we've got any major new signal. I don't know that just because we had this little formation that it means that we're necessarily going into bearish mode. But and I think that's just a snapshot on the market. I just want to touch on a couple of Facebook today, a couple of the trade ideas. I had talked about if it takes out the high of Monday, which it did today. The high on Monday was 55.18. The high today 55.22. So it broke that high. But we did not get a close above the 10-day exponential moving average, which is at 54.88. If you look over to the bar to the far left, it's the line right underneath RSI. It's 54.88, and we closed below it. So I'm not seeing this as an entry right now, but we're getting close. So still looking for that close above the 10-day. The other one I wanted to touch on real quick was SolarCity. And only from the standpoint that now I think we ought to be trailing a stop of a close below the last 2-day high. We've moved enough in our direction of the trade trend here that I want to be able to say, okay, I want to be able to have a trailing stop scenario, and so that's what I put into place. And typically where I look for is once this has moved at least one ATR in the direction of the trade, then I like to kind of have a trailing stop of some kind, because something could go wrong at any point once you've started to move. There's no guarantee you're going to get all the way to your target. So that's my perspective on this, but we're getting kind of close and had a pretty good move today. I mean, with the high on SolarCity 60.52, my target's 61, so we're literally 90 cents away from high to high. So that's nice. There's a couple other ones that are getting close. Cena's getting close. I know there was a couple others and I just can't remember what they are. But anyway, the updates are on my Trade Ideas webpage on the website. So I put the updates there. I changed the stops there. So you've got everything. And then again, I put it out on I tweeted on it to let everyone know that that the update's out there. So that's it for tonight. We'll talk to you this weekend. Have a great Friday. Stay warm, and this has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. Take care.